This is Daryl
And Aaron
on Travel with D&E. If you're in the Flagstaff area, you've got to explore the Two Guns exit off Interstate 40, which includes the graffitied gas station and KOA swimming pool, along with the ancient Pueblo ruins, the Apache Death Cave, and the old Canyon Diablo Gorge Bridge.
The Two Guns exit off of I-40 is an area of Pueblo structures, mostly in disarray, built as tourist traps to cater to travelers on the National Old Trails Highway and subsequently the U.S. Route 66. The buildings and their purpose have numerous stories. Most attempts at entrepreneurship were all but spoiled by progress in Interstate 40, along with the fire in 1971. The area also contains the Apache Death Cave with an intricate story. True or not, you can be the judge. Finally, the old Canyon Diablo Bridge is shown, and it represents the old Route 66 route that was once used. We explored the site at dusk, which made the scene a bit more surreal.
Two Guns is basically a ghost town in an area that's long been inhabited by Native Americans. So where are the Two Guns located? It's located on the Canyon Diablo Gorge in Coconino County between the city of Flagstaff and the town of Winslow. It's about 30 miles east of Flagstaff. Elevation is at 4,515 feet. Now let's take a look at the more detailed map. You can clearly see the old gas station right at the exit off I-40 and the KOA swimming pool and water tanks further south. We're going to head west on the dirt road adjacent to the gas station. Let's first go by the Apache Death Cave. It shouldn't be too hard for you to find. Next, we'll head back to the west and south, visiting old Pueblo structures along the way, including the old zoo. We headed across the old Canyon Diablo Bridge to the south. You will see the remains of an old Hopi trading post on the right, and then we come back across the bridge.
The Apache Death Cave has a few different stories that make you really wonder what's true or not. The cave was a series of natural caverns that are said to extend for several miles under the sandstone. We wanted to go into the cave, but unfortunately the descent to the opening and the ascent out looked too much like an adventure for us. It looked fairly dangerous to get to, and we didn't have any flashlights, and it was already dusk. The first story involves the Apaches attacking a Navajo encampment. Many Navajos were slaughtered. The Apaches used a cave by the canyon to seek refuge. When the Navajos determined the Apache raiders were inside the cave system, they started a fire by the entrance. The Apaches killed their horses and blocked the cave with them. They moved deep into the cave and started singing Apache death songs. Over time, all of the Apache died from the smoke inhalation. Whether the story was true or not, the owner of the land, who called himself Chief Crazy Thunder, pushed the story and then called the cave the Apache Death Cave to promote business and attract tourists to his shops. To attract tourists, he put in lights, put in a concession stand, and sold skulls he found as souvenirs. Did the story actually happen? Maybe, maybe not. You be the judge, but very cool to explore nevertheless.
So what's the story behind Two Guns and the Pueblo structures? There have been artifacts found at the site that date back to between 1050 and 1600 AD, which show the area has long been inhabited by Native Americans. The Hopi, Navajos, and Apaches are among the tribes who lived there. A majority of the structures still standing were built over the last century to attract travelers coming down Route 66 and Interstate 40. In the 1920s, Earl and Louise Condiff purchased about 320 acres of land in the area. They built a trading post, restaurant, gasoline station, and even a post office. Travelers would come along the National Old Trails Highway, which became Route 66 in 1926. People would stop for a much-needed rest. Henry Miller leased some of the Condiff's land. He had a much grander vision for this area. So Miller and his wife, with the help of some area Hopi Indians, began to build a trading post, a Texaco filling station, a Hopi house, and a zoo. So how did Two Guns get its name? The story goes that Miller named the town in honor of Western silent film actor William Searle Hart, also known as Two Gun Bill, because of his twin Colt 1851 Navy revolvers that appeared in most of his 77 films. Unfortunately, Route 66 was rerouted, which diverted travelers. After a lease dispute, Miller shot and killed Earl Condiff. Miller was released from jail after claiming self-defense. After several mishaps, he moved from the area. Louise Condiff remarried, and she and her husband decided to rebuild on the opposite side of the canyon where Route 66 had rerouted. There was a new trading post, tourist shop, gas station, motel, taverns, a KOA, and a new zoo. Their hopes of continuing to draw travelers didn't come to fruition after they sold the property to be leased and abandoned multiple times. A man named Dreher bought it and was able to revitalize the area. Things were looking up for the town since I-40 was going to run through the area, and it would have been a dedicated exit. Unfortunately, a fire destroyed the town in 1971 and was never rebuilt.
The old Canyon Diablo Gorge Bridge was a part of the National Old Trails Highway, and 11 years later, Route 66. The bridge carried travelers over Canyon Diablo. It was placed in the National Register of Historic Places in 1988. The bridge was constructed in 1950 in reinforced concrete Luton arch bridge with a cantilevered roadway. The deck was earth-filled. The bridge is 146 feet long with a 128-foot-long span. The cost of building the bridge back in 1915 was $9,000. Today, that same bridge would probably run you $300,000 or more. As we come up to the bridge, to the right are the ruins of the original Two Guns Hopi trading post. On the south of the road, you can see the ruins of a building with a square-shaped floor plan. That was the old trading post. The bridge has unique sides. One side has slits that allow high water through, while the other has no holes and is a complete wall. The idea is that the water wouldn't flow and would not traverse through the slits to affect vehicles while crossing. The slits allowed any water to get off the bridge.
What to expect while exploring? So there's no signs and you're basically on your own. Make sure you review the maps that are included in this video to identify where everything is located at. Yeah, we just kind of winged it and it took more time than it needed to. It will take you 60 minutes or more to go ahead and explore this area, and a lot more if you go into the Apache Death Cave. If you like to explore, Two Guns is the place for you. The old Highway 66 route has numerous Pueblo structures built throughout the years. It was a lot of fun to walk amongst them and imagine how impressive they were back in their day. The old Canyon Diablo Bridge and the Apache Death Cave are definitely worth checking out. Consider checking out these buildings at dusk, as it just makes a bit difference and makes it more surreal. While at Two Guns, you'll want to make sure you check out and explore the graffiti gas station, water tanks, and the KOA swimming pool, again at dusk, just to add to the ambiance. If you like this content, I know you're really enjoying all the other epic Arizona trip videos around Flagstaff and all over the state to help you plan your next epic trip with your significant others. Do us a favor, go ahead and subscribe, like that video, and feel free to share it. And don't forget to comment down below. Thanks for watching, and as always, we will see you on the next video.